Hello champions, welcome to another video. Gaining muscle requires balance between diet and supplements, which is the key to an aesthetic body, and here is how you can achieve that. Significance of muscle gaining supplements. Generally, to build up muscle it is still better to achieve it via diet and exercise, while supplementation should only be used for additive effects. Nonetheless, it should not be pushed aside as supplements are still generally used for health and building muscle. The top 3 most used supplements are creatine, vitamin D and omega-3 supplement from fish oil. You might wonder if omega-3 fatty acids from flax chia seeds should be considered as well, but the fact is flax chia seeds do not provide sufficient supplement on its own. Flax chia seeds are found in the form of alpha-linoleic acid (ALA), which has to be converted by the body into a usable form, and the ratio conversion is rather poor. Diet plan tip: foods are usually insufficient for anyone that is looking to gain muscles in the fastest manner. The best option is to take in the right supplements for your body needs. Top 3 muscle gaining supplements. Creatine monohydrate. This is by far my top performance supplement for muscle gains. Creatine monohydrate is by far the most tried and true, most affordable, and effective of all the creatine variants. It is original, and many subsequent variants of creatine are either inferior or cost more without giving any additional benefit. So creatine monohydrate is the specific type that I recommend, instead of those packed with additional glucose or unnecessary proprietary blend, most likely another marketing gimmick to inflate the price. We get most of our creatine from animal products, mostly in meat, and it is more abundant in raw meat. When meat is cooked it degrades the creatine content, which is why it is difficult to get the performance-enhancing benefits without consuming this as a supplement. To get creatine stores up to levels where they can benefit strength, power production, muscle fullness and ultimately your long-term ability to produce more muscle mass over time, I would recommend ingesting 0.018 grams per pound of body weight per day, 0.04 grams per kilogram, day. It will take a couple weeks of ingesting this amount per day to reach supplemental creatine levels, but after that point, you can just maintain those levels by continuing to take the dose, like the topping of your gas tank. And last but not least, it's important to note that for long-term consumption, timing doesn't matter. It doesn't need to be taken with carbs, it doesn't need to be loaded, it doesn't need to be taken pre-workout, and it doesn't need to be taken post-workout. All the benefits associated with creatine timing, whether it's taken with carbs, or if creatine is loaded in large amounts, are strictly related to the first couple weeks of consumption where the goal is to get to supplemental levels. It has nothing to do with long-term use, and whether it takes you 5 days or 21 days to reach supplemental levels of creatine has a less than negligible effect on long-term gains. So, just take the daily dose I recommend and you'll be all set to reap its benefits. Diet plan tip: it is best to consume creatine after a workout, but generally you can take it anytime. Moreover, it best not to take in caffeine and creatine at the same time as the effects may possibly counteract each other. Vitamin D. Vitamin D is primarily produced in our body as a result of direct contact with sunlight. Having insufficient levels of vitamin D in the body can compromise the immune system, which can be a disaster for someone who is training hard, dieting or attempting to perform any type of activity at a high level. Vitamin D also affects our mood and hormonal level. Furthermore, it's frequently linked to depression and psychological breakdown. Vitamin D deficiency rates are a lot higher than we think, and being deficient in vitamin D can have negative impacts on muscular performance, immune function and hormonal status. Thus, it's a good idea to supplement accordingly if you don't get much direct sunlight, have dark skin or a combination thereof. A basic dosing recommendation would be to take anywhere from 9 to 36 IU per pound per day, 20 to 80 IU per kilogram per day, of vitamin D3 based on sunlight exposure. For those who find supplements that don't list the amount of vitamin D3 in IUs, the equivalent dose in micrograms is 0.225 to 0.900 mcg per pound per day, 0.5 to 2 mcg per kilogram per day. So if you work or train outdoors on a daily basis, you might not benefit from supplemental vitamin D3 at all. Perhaps taking 9 IU per pound, 20 IU per kilogram at most to be extra safe that you're getting enough would be a good idea. If you are someone on the opposite extreme end of the sunlight exposure spectrum, it might be more appropriate to take the full 36 IU per pound, 80 IU per kilogram. So, you can regularly make sure to supplement the maximal effective dose throughout the winter, and in the summer months stop taking vitamin D supplements. If possible, the absolute best route would be to get your blood work checked to see where your levels are and to see if you're deficient. Otherwise, just use your best estimate in the range provided based on lifestyle and exposure to sunlight. Supplement facts. Vitamin D deficiency is relatively common in athletes and is associated with muscle weakness and atrophy, specifically type 2 muscle fiber atrophy. Skipping out on this vitamin is just as bad as skipping out on leg day. Fish oil. Of the essential fatty acids EFAs, eicosapentaenoic acid EPA, and docosahexaenoic acid DHA, which typically come from fish oil supplementation, have been found to have a host of potential health benefits. If you don't eat fish or don't like taking fish oil, you can also get EPA and DHA from an algae supplement, which is what the fish eat that gives them the EPA and DHA that we are looking for. When appropriately dosed, EFAs help with leptin signaling in the brain, reducing inflammation, enhancing mood and reducing disease factor risk. They can also aid in joint recovery and have shown potential for some metabolic benefits as well. Both while cutting or lean gaining, I would recommend getting enough EPA and DHA combined to fall within the 2 to 3 gram range per day. To check this, look at the back of your fish oil or algae oil container, add together the EPA and DHA and look at the serving size. Perhaps the label says that there is 400 mg per serving of EPA and DHA when combined. This would mean that you need 5 servings to get 2 grams, there is 1000 mg per gram. Supplement facts. Fish oil can reduce blood clotting and should be supplemented with caution if blood-thinning medications, aspirin, warfarin or clopidogrel are already present in the body.